conference will now be recorded.
January 7th. Apologize for the 2-minute delay. We're trying to round up people that inadvertently got sent to the Teams meeting that is automatically created when you send out an invite. So we'll have more people joining online, I'm sure, here in a little bit. First KTMPO meeting of the year, so welcome. I hope everybody had a good, safe, happy, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that jazz. Here we are, gonna hit the ground running. Agenda item 1, call to order. Agenda item 2 is opportunity for public comment. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to address the TAC? Is there anybody online that wants to address the TAC? No? Okay, no public comment. Agenda item 3 is an action item regarding approval of the minutes from the October 1st, 2025 meeting. That's on pages 5 through 10 in your packet. Unless there are revisions or edits needed, I'll entertain a motion on that. Move to approve. Second. A motion and a second. Any further questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed? All right, that motion carries. Agenda item 4 is a discussion and action item regarding amendments to the FY 26-27 UPWP for the Golden Shovel website development and the Tetra Tech TIP module software. Callie's going to present. Callie?
All right, so the UPWP outlines the MPO's 2-year planning activities, our schedule, it's our budget. And the FY 24-25 UPWP had allocations for the website redesign and for the TIP module. However, those were not extended in the FY 25, so we're wanting to reallocate those funds to 26 and 27 for both of those projects. And so for the subtask 1.4, this budget currently has $52,000, and we're needing to up that to about $83,000 to cover that shortfall, to cover the TIP module and the website redesign. So the change will be about it's like a $10,000 shortfall for 1.4, and so we're needing to up that to $41,000 to cover the updates for both of those years of 26 and 27. And it kind of breaks it down for you within your packet as well. So for the FY 26, we need to move $35,000 from task for task 4 and task 1, and then about $15,000 from FY 26 task 4 to FY 27 task 1 to cover both of those projects that we have. And there's going to be no changes or outcomes to any of the other tasks as a result of moving these funds around.
Thank you, Callie. Any questions? So basically, we're asking to move money that we have programmed for next year into this year because we didn't, unfortunately, have the foresight to carry forward from last year as we were working through the budgeting document. There's no change to the overall 2-year planning fund total, and there's no change to the contracts that we've issued that were approved by the TAC and the policy board for Tetra Tech or Golden Shovel. Those amounts are the same. We're just looking to rearrange some of the planning dollars within the UPW.
Motion to approve, that's what you need.
All right, I have a motion.
Second.
Need the second. All right, any further questions, comments, concerns? Yeah. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, that motion carries. Agenda item 6 is a discussion and action item regarding amendments to the FY 25-28 TIP and 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, or the MTP. This is pages 21 through 29 in your packet. Callie?
All right.
Oh,
No, it's Anita.
I missed one. Okay, I'm going back up. Agenda item 5 is a discussion and action item regarding amendments to the public engagement plan to reflect the updated Texas Open Meetings Act requirements and other updates, pages 18 through 20 in your packet. Anita.
Thank you, sir. There was a 45-day public comment period, and we did a meet and greet open house style at the Helping Hands Ministry Neighborhood Food Pantry. And the majority of the respondents were unaware of the Texas Open Meetings Act. All of them thought it was a great idea to host public meetings 3 business days in advance. And most believe that notices reflect community language needs, and there would be a continued awareness of Spanish language and ADA accommodations. It was a 50-50 split there. And nearly all the respondents considered including translation of ADA information very important. There were no negative comments. Any questions?
So the amendments to the engagement plan are also included in your packet and listed on the screen. The biggest one, of course, is that we capture the five business day requirement from Secretary of State. I'll entertain a motion or try to answer any questions if anyone may have.
I think it's 3 business days.
3 business days.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
Work to do, and we can tell the applicant, in your case, can't make the agenda because we are posted.
Yeah, it definitely has an impact, especially around the holidays. Questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that motion carries now. Agenda item 6, correct? There is a discussion and action item regarding amendments to the FY25-28 TIP and 2050 MTP, pages 21 through 29 in your packet, Callie.
All right, so this is for our February 26th, excuse me, TIP amendment. For our formal amendments, we have Hill Country Transit District amendments. I believe it's about 11 projects. And those projects are proposing to repurpose funding originally allocated to the mobility manager's salary towards the new purchase of ADA compliant vans. And it will help replace like vans that are aging within the fleet. And it's also proposing transferring funds from planning activities to ADA capital and to capital preventative maintenance to keep vehicles in good repair throughout their service life. Then our next, we do have a administrative amendment, and that is for the Coppers Cove TA project that was awarded and selected by the state. This we're just including for transparency to the public. We'll be adding it to our group project listing. So it will just be an administrative amendment. TxDOT has requested that that's what we do instead of adding it as its own separate project, because this will make it easier for them to make amendments in the future, and it'll just help further along that process for anything that they need to do to get this project off the ground. So those are our 2 amendments for this cycle. And Anita, did you want to speak to the public engagement process?
Sure. We'll be hosting, the public comment period is from January 5th to the 19th. We have some surveys on social media as well as on the KTMPO website that the public can complete. We'll have a meet and greet at the Coppers Cove Public Library this Saturday, January the 10th, from 10:15 to 1 p.m. And then also for the Hill Country Transit District, we'll be doing a ride-along on the urban, regional, commuter, and micro transit. And so we're not announcing that date, but that particular event goes above and beyond our public engagement requirements. And so staff will be getting on at Coppers Cove, taking the commuter all the way to Temple and then back to Liberty Park, and then using microtransit services to get to the office here. And that will be during a business work day, and that will be also going back towards the end of the day. And so we'll be asking riders to participate in the survey there. Are there any questions?
Questions? Comments? All right, that is a discussion and action item. If there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second, and congratulations, Lloyd. Taking that money.
All right. No further questions, comments, or concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Agenda item 7 is discussion and action item regarding the annual adoption of the safety performance measures, PM1, pages 30 through 39. Callie?
All right, so these are our safety performance measures that we have to adopt every year. And I believe it was like 2 or 3 years ago, we decided to set regional targets for our region. So we're doing regional number of fatalities per million miles traveled, number of serious injuries per vehicle miles traveled, and number of non-motorized fatalities and non-motorized serious injuries. And so, like I said, we decided to move to a regional mindset instead of looking throughout the whole state about a few years ago. And we decided to adopt a 0 deaths by 2050 model for traffic fatalities, and for serious injuries, a 25% reduction in all of the serious injuries in our region. And then for number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries, a 0 death by 2050 for that target. So for 2025 and 2026 is what we're setting now. That would mean 52 fatalities is our target. A number of serious injuries is 130. A number of vehicle miles traveled is 1.34, and number of serious non-injuries or non-fatalities by 100 million vehicle miles traveled, 7.93, and then 31 for the fatalities and serious injuries of non-motorized vehicles. And then here's where we can see kind of, I believe that they were asking to kind of see what it looks like for the vehicle miles traveled and the number of fatalities. So this is what that graph looks like going back to 2015. You can see it kind of goes up and down based off of how many vehicle miles go through our region. And this is the chart for fatalities. We have the actual number of fatalities for 2023 and 2024, and then our projection where we'd like it to go down by 2050, and then the forecast of fatalities. Same here with the serious injuries, and then this is the bike and ped serious injuries for 2023, 2024. And we did meet with the safety task force in December, and they reviewed all of these numbers and the proposed targets, and they did not have any issues or make any suggestions for changes. So within your packet, there is a resolution for this target.
The resolution is pages 38 and 39. Callie, any questions? Like Callie said, the safety task force did meet. We discussed this. They were comfortable with us bringing this recommendation forward. We're happy to try and answer any questions you may have.
I've been looking at the cash to wear, Chris, and it looks like 2025 market challenge was down. But as you saw on that graph, I mean, it does fluctuate. So we might have a good year, doesn't mean we get to pat ourselves on the back.
Right.
Claim mission accomplished.
All right, this is an action item. There's no further discussion. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve as presented. Second.
Who's the second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Okay. Agenda item 8 is a discussion and action item regarding the annual adoption of the Hill Country Transit District Transit Asset Management Plan, or the TAMP, and performance measures associated. This is an annual performance measure. This item and the next one are annual performance measures that we have to adopt that Hill Country Transit sets. How federal highways and US said. This has been in front of the board numerous times in the past. I'm happy to try to answer any questions from KTMPO or hand it off to Daryl to answer any questions on any questions there may be on either this item or the next item. Daryl, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I would just mention, by way of a reminder, remember we had a bunch of vehicles remaining that we needed to auction off, but we were hesitant to do so until we had microtransit flowing and all of that. So we have had those auctions. So there's really 3 categories: rolling stocks of the vehicles. Our target for the end of 25 was to have no more than 30% of our vehicles pass their useful life. That number, we actually exceeded it. We're at 17.9% past their useful life. We're purposely hanging on to a couple of those still because we may reinstate 1 or 2 fixed routes in 26, possibly. The other category is total maintenance equipment. We did not meet that goal, but kind of for a good reason. Our target at the end of 25 was 50%. We're at 65.2. And the reason for that, we've got several items that are really past their useful life, but it's maintenance equipment. It's still in good shape. We're still using it. We still have 2 years left in our grant cycle to replace it. So we're purposely hanging on to those as well. But and they involve things like fuel tanks and heating system in the shop, things of that nature, which we're replacing. So we're on track with all of those goals. Very happy with them.
Any questions on this item? Like I said, this is a routine thing that the TAC and Policy Board send through as required by FTA, Federal Highways, for performance measure reporting. Have a motion?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, agenda item 9 is a discussion and action item regarding the annual adoption of the Hill Country Transit District Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan, or the PTAS, and performance measures associated. Similar to the last item, but except this, instead of asset management, this focuses on the transit district's safety plan. Daryl, anything you'd like to add on that?
Just very simply that the only changes associated to it were regarding the changes in fixed route over to microtransit. Those changes have been made. Obviously, our board has already approved all of that in the past. So we did make those revisions on December 18th. So even though it was adopted on June 13, 24, we have revised it on December 18, 25, and it's on our consent agenda for the 21st of this month for our board to adopt the new version. So it's good to go.
Very well. Any questions? And I believe the PTAS and the TAMP were also included in the calendar invite. If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion. Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, agenda item 10 is a discussion item regarding TxDOT semi-annual project status update. We have Michael Yates Development Office, who's going to provide an update.
Morning, everybody. So I'm going to give a update on where we're at with our construction projects and then a little bit of information on some stuff that's upcoming. That'll be pretty brief. So here's kind of the stuff I'm going to be talking about. So first, our 363 lighting project. We're in pretty good shape on that. They're ahead of schedule. Currently working on concrete paving. They kind of broke the project into two pieces. The first piece is pretty much done. They moved on to the second half. I think that's basically each side of Wendland Road is kind of how they broke it up. We still, if you guys remember last time I gave this presentation, I had summer 27 listed as estimated completion. We have finally got far enough along with the project that I'm willing to vocalize that it's going to be done this summer. They are more than time versus budget. They're more than 20% ahead. And so we do believe that they're going to finish the project this summer, maybe late summer, but they're going really well. That time is probably going to depend on how much of our winter continues looking like it has so far. Because they've made some pretty good progress in November and December that they normally wouldn't have. So this kind of just shows the limits. It's something I've kept in there, but it kind of shows what we're going from to what we're going to as far as the project. Anybody who's driven it can see that most of this is done. The retaining walls have been done for quite a while now, and most of the embankment and the bridges are done. And so it's really just getting paving finished so we can open it back up. Next project is our Rogers Bypass project. We hit a pretty significant milestone on that. Just after Thanksgiving, we opened the westbound lanes, the bypass, the two-way traffic on the westbound lanes, pulled most of the traffic onto that. There is a detour that's in place. US 190, which will be business 190 east of Rogers, is closed currently, with the detour taking the 437 interchange to get from Rogers to be able to go east. Going west looks the same as it has for a long time, and will look when the project's complete, really. They are in pretty good shape on this one. Honestly, we think there's a decent chance they're going to finish this project this summer, but I'm not willing to put it in a presentation yet. But because they are working ahead, and the contractor's finally starting to show it in their schedules that they're giving us, that they're going to finish earlier than we originally anticipated. So, which is good news for everybody who has been around as this project has been going, because it's still well behind the original planned completion date. So, their main items of work right now is around the County Road 113 interchange in Milam County, which is at the east end of the project, and at the Access Road 1, which is actually the future eastbound off-ramp to get to Rogers from the bypass. So that's where they're primarily doing all the work right now. They have to build the other half of the bridges at County Road 113. So overall, over the last year or so, this project has gone really well. And kind of just background information about what we're doing. Next project to talk about is our FM 1123 project. This project has made a lot of ground since the last time I presented on it. All three bridges are open. They opened the day before Thanksgiving. They did meet that milestone. They did have some challenges on individual bridges and some other milestones we had, but they met their big one. So it is currently open. Basically, they are working on finalizing some rock riprap and some concrete riprap on the outsides, in the ditches and that kind of stuff, and some punch list items. So we do expect that project to be completely done in the next couple of months. Kind of shows where the three bridges that we replaced are at. Next project is one I don't think I've presented on before. Turkey Run. It is our first collaborative project with the Department of Defense. It's an agreement that came through the governor's office ultimately, and so we're building the project on the base. This project, and this is the first one in the state. And so this project really got started in August. Estimated completion is next fall. They're currently working on phase one. Flex base and curb primarily right now. I think they actually primed the flex base yesterday. And should be laying down bond bricks, or it's got concrete paving tomorrow. So, and they'll start laying steel and stuff next week. So that's for phase one. It's 2 phases. I don't know if you can see it real well. I know it's kind of small, but the first phase is from Clear Creek to Caisson Road, which is kind of the west third of the project. And then after they get that open, they'll flip to the other half. They needed maintain some access in there for some of their tank maintenance and that kind of stuff. So this kind of shows what it looks like. Overall, project's going pretty good. Next project is another one that is new to this presentation. The SH9 project for adding ramps at Tank Destroyer and Old Georgetown Road. Work on that one begin in November. Currently working on barricades, prep right away and earthwork. Anybody who's driven that road should see that we've got a bunch of barrier rail and stuff that's been set out there. It basically is constructing a new north to east ramp from Old Georgetown Road and a new west to north ramp at Tank Destroyer. We have safety lighting project on Interstate 14. This one let a while back, but it didn't really start work until November. They had a bunch of, the lead time on the high mast poles is pretty long, and so we had to get through that lead time process. They're currently working on high mast pole foundations. They're also boring some conduit currently, which we had. I'll go ahead and bring it up. We did have a challenge. They actually got into one of the city of Killeen water lines with the boring, which we've been working through. It doesn't really just impacts for us, and it really only impacts one bore line, but it's impacted the city pretty significantly in their water operations. So, but other than that, this project's going fairly well. Next project, these are not my slides. I got these from Jeff Jackson, the area engineer in Gatesville. And so, but I told him I'd cover it this month. I think he's planning on being here for the presentation in July because we will have actually started construction by then. They expect work to begin in February. Estimated completion is spring of 29. Obviously, this is a big project. It's been talked a lot about in this meeting in the past and in the policy board meeting. Their internal pre-con will be next week. And they are going to do that's just with their staff and the contractor, and then they'll do one that kind of, they invite the cities and law enforcement and fire and all that stuff for shortly after that. Kind of some general information. It's basically going the other half of what's out there for the code bypass, including the other half of the large bridge across the valley. Kind of shows the limits of the project, which if you've driven it, you know it's basically building the other half of what's out there. I showed Jeff what I had been putting in slides in the past, so he just kind of gave me the same stuff. Project and closeout. So our Loop 121 project, we basically have some handrail that contractor had some challenges with. Their original supplier couldn't provide it, and so it's a long lead time item. And then there's still a few little punch list items, but other than that, we're going to close out on that project. Our 439 million inlay project, which I presented on last time, it's completely done. It's already completely closed out. So made final estimates on it and everything. I-35 rest area truck parking. There was some added work by our maintenance division for some sewer stuff that had some weird lead times and stuff on it. But other than that, that project's basically done. The parking has been open for a couple months now. Hopefully, if you drive I-35 in the morning or in the evening, you see that there are not as many trucks on the ramps. I see it. I have to drive by it every day. So, and then our last project is our SH-195 barrier project from 2670 Williamson County line. I think the last time I presented it as a future project or an upcoming project. It is basically closed out now. I think they're painting barriers, what they have left to do. So those are all the projects that I had to talk about, except upcoming projects. So we basically have 2 projects that are kind of on our radar as upcoming fairly soon projects. It's a 2484 we got in Whiting or 121 in phase 2. Timing wise, I'll kind of let Victor talk about the timing on those. They are both projects that are, I think Victor's talked about our rack and stack program before, but they're both kind of in that program. They have let dates that are auto rates, but they both have fairly soon available to let dates. So Victor, if you have any more.
Sure, so FM 2484, the design's complete on that. We're gonna let the first half first from I-35 to Park Road. The only thing that we're waiting on are utility relocations. I believe there's 3 utilities outstanding out there. And the earliest we could let that would be about 12 months from now. It's about January, February of 2027. If the utilities relocate sooner, we can start the project sooner. Same with 121, that one again, the design's complete. There are a couple outstanding utilities. We did, that one moved up last month. So it is gonna be lighting in October of 2026 this year. Part of the scope, 121, that's gonna be converting the 2 lanes to 4 lanes divided, raised median. And then 2484, I believe that's just rehab and widening basically.
Yeah, it goes to a 3-lane section. Or most of it's going to be widened to a 3-lane section.
With the new traffic signal or 2.
With a new signal at 2484 and 1670 and signalizing the I-35 interchange. So I will say for anybody that drives that section of road, you probably have seen the message boards. We're going to convert 1670 and 2484 into a 4-way stop. That should happen on the 20th. That's when our striping guys can get out there. I think we already have the sign basis installed, so it's basically just waiting for the striping to go out there. So get the sign. That'll be a 4-way stop until our project comes in when we do construct the signal. A lot of that was, we had some meetings with the school district and stuff, and it's about helping the buses get out. It's a big part of kind of an interim condition until the signal goes. Anybody have any questions?
Questions? Thank you. That was a wonderful update. Yes, sir.
Just like to make one comment that, I want to thank you, Michael, for being such a good partner to the county. Michael's been he's always been available for us, and we've had some things in precinct 3, and it's just good to know we've got people in different organizations working together in a positive manner. So thank you, Michael.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you again. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, the Gatesville folks that couldn't be here. Agenda item 11 is a discussion item regarding the quarterly TIP project readiness updates and the draft 2027 UTP. If you have your packet with you or access to it, a list of planned TIP projects is included in the packet. If your projects are in there, or if you have projects that are down the line and there are readiness issues, please let the staff know. But if you have any that can move up or let sooner than we anticipated with the projected let date, also please let us know. Sometimes, we need to work through ebbs and flows of how projects are getting funded and built. In addition to that, a draft 2027 UTP list is also provided. I think it's page 60 in your packet. It shows what we have in the STIP and then what's projected to go into the UTP. But with that, I'm open to any questions you may have on that process. We have been working with TechStot on the upcoming UTP submission.
You need to work on changing the scope limits of the chaparral, since with everything we've been doing, discussing right now shows Premier, East Premier, we're going 195 to, so we'll need to change those limits.
Okay.
The dates are the same.
And we'll coordinate that.
We haven't made a decision yet with the phase 2, the Town Trail. We're looking to find extra money to cover the whole project. We might not get a budget this past year. There were some things in the proposed budget that got back. So we may pull the scope in a little bit, maybe take the bridge out. That's what's on the bridge. But that, we haven't settled on that yet. As soon as we know, I'll let you know.
Sounds good. Any other comments? All right. Agenda item 12 is a discussion item regarding the FY 2025 annual performance expenditure report of the APR and the 2025 APL. Find it in the packet here. I believe the APR is included in your packet along with the checklist. If you'll recall, last year we thought we were going to have the TAC and the policy board act on the APR. That's the direction that TxDOT pointed us. And then in a 11th hour call, TxDOT said we don't need policy board approval, so the policy board chair elected not to have special meetings just for the APR so that everybody could review this. What you have in front of you is the information that was submitted to TxDOT and Federal Highways. We have not gotten an official approval yet from Federal Highways, but I anticipate that'll come shortly. The APL, we are still waiting on information from TxDOT, but we'll keep working with them as they send information out on the APL process. And with that, I'm open to any questions. All right. Agenda item 13 is a discussion item regarding updates to the Regional Active Transportation Plan, pages 94 through 98 in your packet. Anita.
Thank you so very much. The Regional Active Transportation Plan, we had a little lag in some moving forward, and that actually paid off for us. The Post Oak Ridge State Park is being developed right now, and that's in Lampasas County. So we'll be able to add those GIS layers to our plan. And then most recently, Texas A&M, they requested a letter of support for a trail over there. And so we're super excited to be able to add both of those GIS layers into the plan. And if we would have been on schedule, we would have missed out and had to go back and add those. So that was like a little win for us. And actually, I spoke to Jeff Stoddard this morning with Coppers Cove Parks and Rec, and he's had a vision for another trail to go from Coppers Cove to Texas A&M. So he's going to be sending us some of those types of ideas that we can also add to the plan. So really the connectivity as this plan moves forward is genuinely from Coppers Cove. And, you know, it'd be nice if we could get something from Kettner all the way to Troy. So we're excited about it, and there'll be more to come.
Thank you.
The actual schedule is included in your packet. So our goal is to really have this all written out, documented, the plan with the bow on it for tax approval on March 4th.
Any questions on that? All right. Agenda item 14 is a discussion item regarding public input received through December 2025. Anita.
Thank you, sir. We had one public comment, and that was actually from a city reporter with the Temple Daily Telegram. He had some questions about the village of Salado. That comment is included in your packet, and Kendra was able to answer all those questions for him satisfactorily. So.
Public comment? None. We'll move to agenda item 15, which is director's update, pages 102 through 104. Bear with me as I try to read my own handwriting here in the notes I've written. We have the upcoming meetings, of course, on the screen. Just for everybody's awareness, we will probably need to reschedule the March 18th policy board meeting. That falls the same week as the AMPO, the national organization's fly-in in DC, and it's probably critical that policy and TAC members, I'm on the policy committee and Kendra's on the TAC, are engaged in reauthorization conversations as we move through that process. So we'll probably be bringing a motion to the policy board to reschedule that March meeting probably to the week following, so we can provide an update on activities that we took part in at the spring flying. Leading right into AMPO and TEMPO updates. As I just referenced, I remain on the policy committee. Kendra's been appointed to the TAC. I believe Anita is on the public transit. Are you still on the public transit?
No, it's the active transportation interest group, and so I'll be doing a second year there.
Good, good. So we have 3 staff that are actively engaged with AMPO. TEMPO is the state association of NPOs. They elected new membership or leadership. Clay Barnett with the Sherman Denison MPO is the new chair. I'm the vice chair. I ran unopposed, just so everybody knows. I didn't throw myself in the hat, so I don't even know how I ended up there. But there you have it. So I didn't miss it. I was actually there. I proposed that we selected somebody who was not at the meeting.
Good job.
Reauthorization efforts. We're hot and heavy into this right now. We were supposed to have hopefully a marker bill by the end of December. Of course, we didn't have that come out yet. We're hoping now to have a surface transportation marker bill by March, but who knows what may or may not happen in the coming weeks as we head toward the end of January. That being said, the transportation, all of the committee chairs have said that they want to have a bill compiled and submitted and approved prior to the expiration of the current surface transportation bill, which would be the September timeframe. So we're working on that. The big push for directly related with NPOs is additional PL funding. They've added things that we're required to do, but not provide any additional funding for those activities. So it's kind of, for us to figure out. We're kind of blessed in Texas. PL dollars come with a 20% match, which many states, their MPO member organizations pay a membership dues to account for that. TxDOT actually picks up the 20% match for all MPOs in the state. So we're appreciative for that. That's not a really big issue that we have to worry about. If we get an increase in dollars, we don't have to worry about the match increasing as well. In addition to MPOs, though, his support has also been voiced for funding of RPOs. I know this is the NPO TAC, but our staff on the NPO actually cover the RPO as well, so that would prove to be beneficial if the RPOs were funded through federal legislation. Other big items are just really readiness updates. There is a big readiness push for all NPOs to move projects along. What some elected representatives are hearing is that NPOs slow down the process, and that isn't the case. We work really good with TxDOT in our district and our jurisdictions. Our NPO doesn't slow down the process, but when I remind everybody that readiness is a key issue, we need to be aware that at the federal level, they are looking directly at NPOs to ensure that we are moving projects forward that are ready. So that's it for the AMPO update. The policy board in October appointed the TAC small town representative, which is Tammy Cochran with Little River Academy sitting over there. She takes donations. She has Zelle and Venmo, she told me. So Little River's a small jurisdiction. They need any help they can get.
Rogers too.
And Rogers. The statewide review of functional classifications, staff have been working with TxDOT, Federal Highways on that. You should have received an email from Callie, and I believe that most folks have responded to her request for information. So we'll continue coordinating those efforts. If you didn't see my lovely face and bright orange shirt on KWTX, SICCOG and KTMPO were awarded funding for the FY25 Safe Streets and Roads for All to do the school safety and provide amendments and updates to our current comprehensive safety action plan. Those activities, as probably everybody in here is aware, I don't anticipate any of that will happen for at least 6 months. Before we can start any work, we have to have a signed agreement with Federal Highways and US DOT, and that is not a process that moves rapidly. Other updates I have, for those of you who used it, who may not have used it or supported it, our vet ride program ended December 31st. That was a program that was funded through the Texas Veterans Commission that provided veterans transportation services through a hop, car, any way we could get them to and from medical appointments, the grocery store, but unfortunately that program ended December 31st. We have applied for additional funding in the next grant cycle, but it will be super competitive because they've just changed the way that they do things at TDC, where all applications every year have to be resubmitted. It used to be half the state would apply on one, or half the applications would apply at one time and the other half the next year. That's no longer the case. That being said, we do still actively have our Homes for Texas Heroes program. So if you know a veteran, if you have a large veteran community or you speak to the veteran population in your jurisdictions, please let them know that we have a program funded through TVC will assist veterans with home repairs as long as they meet the qualifications for the repairs. I believe we can, per veteran, the max award amount is $35,000, so it's pretty significant. Most of the awards that we've been doing are $2,000 to $5,000 for small ramp projects or handrail projects. But we do have funding available for, roof activities or bathroom remodels to bring them ADA compliant or anything to help these veterans out. The last update I have is I can't believe it's been 4 years again, but our federal certification review is tentatively scheduled for April 15th and 16th. A letter will be going out at some point from Federal Highways to notify the chair, and at that point, I'm sure he will instruct staff to notify the TAC and Policy Board that our certification review will occur the 15th and 16th of April. And our air quality readings were 43 parts per billion and 43 parts per billion. That I'm open to try and answer any questions anyone may have. All right, moving on to agenda item 16 is member comments. Any comments? Comments? All right. It is item 17. It is 10:21, and we will adjourn. Thank you all.